Cool.
Hello, hello, and welcome. We are talking today with one of our awesome home growers. And so Sara, tell me about your garden and how long you've had the garden operating at your house, at your physical location.
Yeah, so this will be the 6th year at my current location, but I've been gardening for, I guess this will be my 18th year gardening. So, but this is my biggest space yet, and we just expanded it this year. So I'm definitely excited to keep growing.
Awesome. And how many is it? What's the system like? Is it a raised bed system, in ground?
Um, it's mostly in ground.
It's mostly
I do have like borders and stuff, but it's pretty much in the ground.
Oh, awesome. And so I always feel like a little scared about digging in the ground. Did you have to do any kind of soil testing or like did you have to be careful of anything under the ground? Like tell us a little bit about that because that's a little it could be a little um conflicting there, like the information.
Yeah, where we put our garden, there was like a flat spot that I don't know, I don't know why it was created. And when we were kind of just tilling up the surface, of the space, we definitely found like sand and pavers, and I don't know if they had like a shed or, so we definitely wanted to like, dig up the grass, but then, so we did it all by hand, and it's a big space. So it was a lot of work, but we just put, layers of organic matter on top, not too much, but enough to get started.
Do you happen to know the dimensions of your garden?
I don't. It's because I mean we just expanded it. Like we have a huge new area for herbs, and so I have no idea at this point. We have a greenhouse. We added a greenhouse 2 years ago, so there's just a lot going on. I haven't measured it.
Oh, okay, awesome. And so tell us about your tilling. Are you doing like a primary tilling each year or like for your new beds, double digging? What's going like how deep are your beds?
So most of the beds are right on top of the ground, which I did just cardboard and compost. Just I kind of have gravitated towards a no dig method. Um, and but the other ones are, maybe 8 inches deep. They're not really, they're more of like a border. So, and we added a lot of wood chips this year in the pathway, so it almost looks like they're just right on the, in the ground. So
Oh wow. Okay, so you're doing like you did some no-till beds that were just cardboard and then layer and then like a lasagna approach with the compost on top.
yeah,
Okay, awesome. How deep was that, you think?
I mean, they're just, yeah, maybe 6 to 8 inches. We just got a ginormous pile of compost delivered last week. So we're adding, we started in the fall. So now we're adding more layers of material, and then I'll plant directly in it. And I already put seeds down in the fall. So I have like some California poppies coming up, some motherwort, things like that. So
Awesome. So tell us about that composting. I mean, are you delivering it in? Do you have a personal supplier or do you have some systems that you're trying to do on your site?
I do have a double tumbler, so that kind of allows me to reduce my own waste. And then with that compost, I can like top dress things, add it to, things that I put in pots randomly when I run out of space in my garden, which happens inevitably every year, all year long. And then, but once a year, we get a really large, we got 8 cubic yards this year of compost, mushroom compost delivered from, we used Mulch Unlimited this year because it was recommended to me by another urban farmer friend. So it's supposed to
Nice.
be magical, so I hope it is.
Well, that's always one of the challenges is keeping the soil healthy, keeping everything top dressed each year. So it's always an investment or something to think about. So it's great to hear your recommendation for a local Richmond supplier or a Virginia supplier, as well as the type of compost and also, you know, your approach to utilizing that as your primary soil choice rather than necessarily digging into the ground for um, using the ground itself. But the cardboard will decompose over time too, right? So
Yeah.
eventually it
Yeah.
will be awesome. So, you know, what kinds of things are you seeding or planning to seed for the spring and summer?
Yeah. So I knew you were going to ask me that. And I may or may not be kind of addicted to buying seeds. So I probably have, I don't know, I would say at least 200, 250 different varieties of things that I'm growing. Um, and that will include some perennials that have already been established in the garden. But this year, because I have the expansion, I'm starting so many perennial herbs that I won't really have to start, hopefully in the future. Hopefully they will, thrive. So this year's a really big seed starting year for me. um I have, yeah, strictly medicinal seeds, got a lot of my money this year, so I got a lot of medicinal herbs, and then just the regular, typical vegetables that everybody grows.
Is
So
there a particular seed starting guide or resource that you like to turn to help you know the different germination stages for each seed?
I really just recommend reading the information on the actual seed packets. That's going to be your best guide. Um, and I do recommend using like a mix of seed starting mix and organic potting soil, because the seed starting mix doesn't really have as many nutrients in it versus the organic potting soil. So you do want some of those nutrients, but also you want the fluffy, seed starting mix so that they can germinate easier. So those two things are my biggest recommendations for starting seeds.
And then you have a lot of perennial herbs, so many of those trays are going to have various germination rates. Are you accounting any of those details? Where are they being stored at?
Yeah, I mean, I have 6 shelves in my basement, which doesn't get very warm. So I do, um, have some variations with that. And then I have the greenhouse, and, with this dance into, warmer weather, the temperatures fluctuate in there as well. So, you really have to just be, I mean, as a gardener in general, you have to just be like, well, if this didn't work, I'm just gonna resow and try it again. And you know, that's that. I mix and match a lot of things because it's just a matter of like, getting it done.
Are you
I'm not as
recording?
organized as
Yeah.
some people.
Are you recording your results anywhere?
I don't. I don't. I think
Okay.
every year I wish that I did that, but I don't.
Yeah, I think you should. I've seen that play out really well because otherwise, you know, you could use the seeds the same way. And I've had surprises happen to me before where like a tray would not germinate in one spot and then I moved into a new spot and it germinated and I'm like, oh. So then it's like, how do I remember that unless I like record it? So it's hard.
Yeah.
But I understand it gets hard to like do all the things. So
Yeah.
awesome. So you have 250 varieties. That's such a huge array. It shows such a love for plants. But do you happen, you know, that covers a lot of plant families. Is there like a particular plant family that you noticing that you have a lot of species or plants varieties of?
I probably have a lot of like the mint families because I feel like that's a mint family. That's a huge family. So, and, my nettle patch is just, it's just unruly. It's everywhere. I don't know. It just wants to be with me. So it's there.
Awesome. So you're seeing that you have a lot of mints that you're planting this year, a lot of mints in your variety, and just because there happens to be a lot of mints available. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, is there a particular herb or plant that you are looking forward to this year?
I'm definitely looking forward to the California poppy that's coming up because I use that a lot. I did 3 different types of motherwort, so I'm excited about that. And just a lot of more edible flowers. I'm doing some chrysanthemums, some wallflower, that's the celosia. So yeah, things like that.
And what excites you about one or two of those species that you mentioned?
Just being able to, I know that I use them so much. And so being able to grow my own and see the difference is exciting to me, just to see what that is going to look like.
Have you grown California poppy before?
No, I've grown other types of poppies, but not that specific variety.
And where are they planted this year?
It's kind of weird to describe. I have like this L-shaped, herb expansion. So they're just in one of the, they're right in the middle. So they're getting all the sun, and so hopefully it'll be fine. I mean, I think they're pretty resilient plants. So
Do you have them planted with other plants or just their own kind?
they're just going to be in one length of a bed. So they're going to be by themselves. And then I'll also plant some probably chamomile and some yarrow next to that. So
Awesome. I love the way the California poppy comes up. They kind of look like little carrots, but they're green, and their green sprouts are like lighter color, and then they end up having little red dots on them. So
yeah,
you'll look out for those if they're not popping up already.
they are. It's like so frilly and like just
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
really pretty looking. And you get, they're like, oh, wait, is that a carrot? You're like, oh no, that's that California poppy. Cool.
Yeah.
Neat, neat. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any closing thoughts for Richmond Herbalism Guild audience today, or any last minute tips for the growing season?
I just have fun with it because, your garden can be one of your most profound teachers. And so just embrace that and have fun and learn, and yeah, just grow things.
Awesome. And do you have any specific offers for our audience today? Things that you'd like them to know about you? Things that you'd like to invite them to?
You can follow my garden. It's at Vivify Gardens on Instagram if you want to see what I'm doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.